Discover the differences in distributing products or services through sales versus network marketing. Let's first look at an example of distribution based on sales. Imagine a company that sells a product or service with a 40% margin. A typical sales team, for example, might be made up as follows. For example, it could consist of a boss, 3 sales team managers, and 9 sales representatives. Of course, each manager helps organize the work, the 3 sales representatives each. Now, let's imagine how the funds from that 40% margin are divided up, how much each group receives. Each sales representative will receive 25% as they put in the most effort and commitment. In this case, the team manager will get 10% because they help organize the work of the sales representatives. And the boss will get 5% as they oversee the work of the entire team. And let's imagine a monthly sales target of 1,000 euros for each sales representative. Therefore, the representative will receive 250 euros in commission, and the team manager will get 300 euros in commission because their team acts as leverage with 3 sales representatives. Because without this, the turnover from which he will receive his share, 10%, which is 3,000 euros. And let's imagine how much the boss will get. Remember, the boss will have leverage over 9 sales representatives, so he will get 5%, but from 9,000 euros, which means his commission will be 450 euros. This is a system that requires a great deal of effort from the sales representatives, yet they will never earn more than the boss. This is a system based on competition between sales representatives. It is also a system based on competition even between the team manager and the representatives, because if a particular representative is talented and develops, it often happens that the team manager will want, let's say in quotation marks, to suppress him in some way so that the boss doesn't notice his talent, because this poses a risk, including for the team manager. And we could give plenty more examples like this. Now, let's see what distribution looks like through network marketing. Network marketing came about because companies realized that in reality, only 5% of people enjoy selling, while 95% say they don't like selling. And so they wondered how to reach this huge group of people with their services or products. Even though they don't like selling, how can you reach them so that they might want to help in acquiring new customers? And so they established what's called the minimum effort indicator, meaning the things we do with pleasure and always do when we're happy. We buy and recommend, and we do it immediately, automatically, and it even gives us pleasure. And thanks to this, let's see how distribution can be done in network marketing. For example, with a product or service where there's a 40% sales margin. Let's see how these funds will be divided. So our main character, let's call him Jan, will get 10%. If Jan once worked as a sales representative where he got 25%, then at first, no, he won't be very pleased. He likes it a lot, however, in a moment we'll explain how he'll have much greater opportunities. Jan, attention, won't be selling anything at all. The only thing he'll do is use some product or service worth 100 euros a month for his own use, for his own enjoyment. And he has to be satisfied with it, because if not, he won't recommend it, right? So let's imagine that he is satisfied and recommends it. Therefore, the 30% margin that remains will be divided into 6 levels of recommendation, 5% each. The recommendation level is very easy to understand because let's imagine Jan has a friend, Marek, and he recommends this service to him or this product, then for him it will be the first level of recommendation. However, if this friend Marek, for example, has a friend Anya, then Anya will be the first level of recommendation for Marek, but already the second level of recommendation for Jan. And in this way, people who talk to each other, recommend that something is pleasant or nice, will buy it for their own use, and a sort of recommendation group will simply form, a kind of personal use network. Everyone will only use the products or services worth 100 euros a month for themselves. And now I'll give one example here, so we can see what it will look like in numbers. Let's imagine our main character is Jan. He invites his friend Marek. Marek, of course, also buys products or services for himself. And then Marek says, right, but I know more people. I'll invite Anya, for example, and Marta. And he already invites 2 people. Then we can see that these 2 people do the same. That is, they each invite another 2 people. And so, thanks to this, our team grows here. These next 4 people also each invite just 2 people because that's what they've learned. And in this way, such a team develops up to the 6th level. Everyone buys for their own use, spending €100 a month. And now, companies that know this method of distribution don't spend money on any advertising on television, radio, or in newspapers because they know that in reality, there's no control over who will use the product or who will buy it there. A brilliant way is to give such a reward for the fact that this sale has already been made, meaning if someone buys for themselves or for their company, that's a sale. And the company shares part of its profits from this margin in the form of rewards. So if we calculate the turnover amount times 5%, we understand that from each of these levels of recommendation, our main character Jan will receive some rewards. Altogether, from this method of distribution, let's see, the company also has its 40% margin. However, note that our main character Jan will receive a reward of €315. And this is every month because everyone uses their product every month, right? Let's imagine that Jan spends €100 on his products. He still has €215 left in his pocket, so it's definitely attractive, an active way to use some products and have the means for them. And on top of that, there's still more money left over. But what happens with our other friend Marek, who instead of inviting just 1 person, at the start invited 2 friends straight away? Remember Anya and Marta? And he taught them the same thing. So, of course, our friend Marek also has 6 levels of recommendations under him. But bear in mind, since he put in a bit more effort at the start, his team is bigger because the duplication happened faster and was stronger from the beginning. Each person learns to invite 2 others, so everyone invites 2 people. So this team is already larger. And now, what will Merit's rewards be in this situation? From their own use, it's €100 each, but with just a bit more involvement, as in Merek's example. Notice he will already be receiving rewards of €630. So, as we can see in the network marketing system, a person who may have started later but got involved and put in more effort will earn more, because this is a very fair system. The more effort someone puts in, the more they get involved, the more they earn, unlike in the previous traditional example. So we can see that network marketing is about personal use of a product or service, but with a business vision.